Buongiorno a tutti.
Good day, everyone.
Personalmente molto felice.
Today I'm really happy.
Nell'ambito dei nostri incontri verso il Novecento.
In our encounter with the 20th century, we'll be taking a leap right into the depths of a more dangerous, dizzy, voluptuous, problematic, hence a more realistic 20th century.
Quello che veramente è il Novecento.
I was saying last time that of all the things I like best and that interests me most is the idea of speaking to a person, a composer, on the subject of the 20th century who was not a listener, but who was someone who actually created it.
Il Novecento non l'ha ascoltato, ma l'ha fatto.
A person whose experimentation and whose musical thinking tells us and indicates what is truly considered to be the 20th century in its most fascinating but most problematic and dangerous way.
E anche più problematici, più rischiosi. Il maestro è Corrado Canepa.
This master is Corrado Canepa, a composer whose name is linked to a real change, one of the greatest revolutions ever to take place in the concept of making music.
Che ci sono state nell'idea stessa di far musica. Una delle rivoluzioni, diciamo, che il Novecento ha permesso e in qualche modo anche...
One of the revolutions that was permitted but also suffered by the 20th century was the changing of roles, of redefining the playing of roles, which, as always, leads us back to thinking of how it was in the past. Roles which seem to be so defined were in fact more so than we could possibly imagine.
I ruoli che tradizionalmente sono diversi, cioè quelli dell'esecutore, quello del compositore, quello di chi produce.
They were traditional roles such as the performer, the composer, the producer, or the music maker. In reality, these roles were not altogether very different from one another, but from the moment the composer put pen to paper, his music could be interpreted by someone else. Ever since the invention of the written word, Western music has followed this principle. Now, however, the composer becomes the inventor of the sound itself, right from its core. Therefore, he is not so much concerned with the way of writing sound, but by the manipulation of sound itself. He is able to control the actual substance and transform it into meaning to form a composition.
C'è stato un grande cambiamento degli strumenti, questa è una storia lunga, nel senso gli strumenti cambiano e si evolvono per tutta la storia che noi seguiamo.
There has been great change in musical instruments. Throughout history, instruments have changed and evolved to such an extent that we could even retell history through the development of musical instruments. During the 20th century, the possibility to use instruments that build sound, as an engineer would build a model, has led to a completely new way of inventing and imagining sound, free from the previously constricting limits of the past, bringing with it new and different limitations.
Che precedentemente c'erano e che si è dovuta confrontare con nuovi limiti e con diversi limiti.
Corrado Canepa has managed to combine many different aspects. His thoughts on music, the composition of the music, the ability to put together a number of subjects and characteristics in order to react directly with the music. I now willingly pass over to him.
E di agire direttamente sulla musica.
Firstly, I would like to remind you of a point that I believe is fundamental to everything we do.
Secondo me è fondamentale di tutto quello che facciamo noi. Diceva Spinoza.
The philosopher Spinoza tells us not to cry, not to laugh, not to hate, but to understand. Therefore, our first objective before anything else is to be able to understand, to be able to enter into a world of poetry created by a person who has invented it, felt it, and lived it. After which, the judgment of pleasure or pain comes second place. Firstly, there is the pleasure of an introspective comprehension, to succeed in understanding the mechanism. Then follows the ability to appreciate, to like or dislike according to our personal taste. Enough from me. I invite Corrado to take over and thank him on my behalf for coming and dedicating his valuable time to speaking with us. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Ascoltiamo. Buongiorno.